Am I the asshole for walking out on my family after being the one holding everything together my whole life? My family is chaos disguised as we're doing our best. I, 21 me, have spent most of my life pretending things were fine. They weren't. They were never fine. My family is a collection of broken glass held together by duct tape and denial. My mom is a 45-year-old woman who drinks like she's training for a competition. She used to work in real estate, but her license got suspended after she crashed her car drunk on the way to a showing. She tells everyone it was a misunderstanding, but I was the one who picked her up from the police station that night, listening to her slur about how it wasn't her fault because the world is against her. My dad hasn't been around since I was 12. He remarried, moved to another state, and only calls when he wants to check in, which is code for asking if mom's drinking has gotten better. Spoiler, it hasn't. Then there's my older sister, Haley, 26F, who has a personality like a storm, intense, unpredictable, sometimes magnetic, sometimes terrifying. She's brilliant but self-destructive. She's been in and out of creative phases, soul-finding trips, and at least 3 unpaid internships she quit after 2 weeks. She lives with us half the time, usually after another breakup or meltdown. And finally, my little brother, Theo, 14M. He's the only person in this house I actually love without hesitation. He's quiet, smart, autistic, and constantly lost in his books and little science projects. He deserves a peaceful life. Instead, he's surrounded by screaming matches, cigarette smoke, and unpaid bills. Growing up as the family's safety net, I don't remember a time when I wasn't cleaning up after someone, literally and emotionally. When I was 10, I learned how to cook because Mom would forget to buy food. I'd come home from school to find her asleep on the couch with an empty bottle of Chardonnay, the TV blaring some reality show, and Theo crying in his room because he was hungry. At 13, I learned how to forge her signature for school papers because she'd lose them, or forget entirely. At 15, I was already working part-time at a grocery store so I could pay for my own clothes and sometimes cover the electric bill when Mom didn't have time to deal with it. By 17, I was the one taking Theo to therapy appointments, mediating Mom's fights with Haley, and acting like some kind of unpaid live-in social worker. People at school used to call me responsible. I wasn't responsible. I was just trapped. Part 3, the college years that never really happened. When I finally got accepted to college, it felt like a miracle. I thought, this is it. I'm getting out. Except I didn't. Mom cried when I told her I got in. Not tears of pride, tears of panic. You can't leave, Jamie. Who's going to help with Theo? What am I supposed to do without you? Haley said I was selfish. Dad said, maybe you should stay close for a while, just in case things get worse. So I stayed. I deferred my acceptance and went to a local community college instead. I told myself it was temporary. It wasn't. Every semester I tried to reapply to leave, something came up. Mom's relapse. Haley's hospitalization after a bad breakup. Theo's school threatening to call CPS because he kept showing up hungry and exhausted. I became the emergency contact for everyone in the house, literally and emotionally, and it drained me dry. The straw that broke everything. 2 months ago, I was working double shifts at a diner. I came home around midnight to find the house dark, except for the glow from the living room. Mom was lying on the floor unconscious, empty bottle next to her. Theo was sitting beside her, shaking her arm, whispering, "Wake up, Mom. Please wake up." Haley was nowhere to be found. I called an ambulance. They took her to the ER, pumped her stomach, told me it was a close call. When she woke up, she didn't thank me. She didn't apologize. She just started crying and said, "You made me look like a fool. Jamie, everyone in the neighborhood saw the ambulance." That night, I sat in the parking lot for hours after she was discharged, just staring at the sky. I think that's when something inside me broke for good. The last blowout. The next morning, Haley came home, drunk, loud, and furious that I'd overreacted. "You love playing the hero, don't you? You think you're some kind of savior? You love when people need you?" I snapped. I screamed at her. Told her she was just like Mom, selfish, manipulative, toxic. Mom overheard and jumped in. Soon everyone was yelling. Theo was crying. And in the middle of all that chaos, I said the words I'd been choking on for years. "I'm done. You're all adults. Fix your own mess." I grabbed my backpack, my laptop, and the $300 I had saved, and I left. Freedom doesn't feel like freedom. It's been almost a month. I'm renting a small room in an old house near campus. The first few nights were strange. Quiet, empty, but peaceful. No yelling. No bottles clinking. No doors slamming. Just silence. I started sleeping again, eating regularly. I even started sketching, something I hadn't done in years. But the peace didn't last long. The guilt started creeping in. Texts from Haley. "Mom's drinking again. Are you happy now? Theo misses you. You abandoned him." Then Mom called, crying, saying, "I broke the family." Even Theo called once, whispering, "Can you come home? Mom's sick again." I almost did. I packed my bag halfway. But then I remembered the ER, the screaming, the years of exhaustion that made me forget what it felt like to just exist. so I didn't go. 2 weeks later, Haley showed up at my door. She looked awful, pale, jittery, exhausted. "She's in the hospital again," she said. "I can't do this without you." I froze. My instinct screamed to get up and go, but another part of me whispered, "It's not your job anymore." I asked her, "Is Theo okay?" She said yes, he was with a neighbor. So I said, "Then I'm not coming." Haley just stared at me. "Wow, you've really changed." "Yeah," I said. "That's the point." She stormed out, calling me selfish, heartless, broken. I didn't stop her. It's been 3 weeks since that visit. Mom's out of the hospital, apparently recovering. Haley blocked me on everything. Theo texts me random facts sometimes. "Did you know dolphins sleep with one eye open?" Like nothing ever happened. And me? I go to classes, work my shifts, and try not to think too much. But sometimes I lie awake and wonder if I did the right thing. Because freedom is quieter than I imagined, and way lonelier. I'm not sure I know who I am without someone to take care of. So here I am, Reddit. Am I the asshole for walking away? For leaving my mom, sister, and brother to deal with their own choices? For finally choosing myself after years of being the adult in a house full of children? Because I can't tell anymore if I'm selfish, or if this is what survival actually looks like. Update: it's been about 3 months since I walked out of my family's house. I wish I could say life has been easy. It hasn't. But it's been different. Calmer, quieter, sometimes too quiet. I picked up more hours at the diner, enrolled full-time at college again, and even started making some friends. They don't know much about my family. I just said things got messy back home, and they didn't push. At first, I thought I'd finally found peace. I'd wake up without the sound of bottles clinking or shouting through thin walls. I could eat breakfast without someone crying or demanding money, but every night when I turned off the lights, my brain would betray me. I'd hear Theo's voice, soft and scared. "Are you coming home?" I tried to ignore it. But then he started texting again, random things like, "We learned about planets today." "Mom says hi." "I fixed the toaster." "You would have been proud." That last one broke me, so I texted back, "I am proud of you, bud." We talked a little, nothing deep, mostly about his classes or his drawings. But it felt like breathing again. Then one night he texted something that kept me awake for hours. "Mom gets angry a lot again. Haley's gone most nights?" I hide in my room. "I miss you." I wanted to drive straight over there. I even grabbed my keys, but I didn't, because I knew exactly how that story ends. Me back in the same house, cleaning up the same mess, trapped again. So instead, I called a social worker I'd met through Theo's old therapist. I didn't give my name at first, just described the situation. She told me I did the right thing. That sometimes the best way to help someone is from a distance. I'm not sure I believe her, but I want to. Another update. 2 months later, I got a call at work. Unknown number, it was Haley. Her voice was raw, trembling, like someone who'd been crying for days. "Jamie, Mom's in rehab." She OD'd again. "They made me sign her in." My heart stopped. I didn't even know she'd started using again. Last I heard, she'd quit drinking. I should have known better. That woman never quits anything unless it's good for her. Haley kept talking, words spilling out like water from a broken pipe. "She said your name before she passed out. She kept saying you hate her. You don't hate her, do you?" I didn't know what to say. Hate was too simple a word for what I felt. I didn't hate my mother. I hated what she did. How she turned every cry for help into manipulation, every apology into another promise she'd never keep. So I said, "I don't hate her. I just can't save her anymore." Haley went quiet. Then she said, almost pleading, "Please just come once. For Theo's sake. He's scared." That night I sat in my car outside the rehab center for nearly an hour. I didn't go in. I just watched the windows, wondering if she was awake, wondering if she even remembered what she'd done. I thought I'd feel like a monster for not visiting. Instead, I just felt empty. When I got home, Theo had texted. "They said Mom's getting help. Is she gonna be okay now?" I stared at the message for a long time, then replied, "I hope so, buddy. I really do." Update: it's been a year. Mom's still in treatment. She relapsed twice, but apparently she's committed now. I haven't spoken to her directly, just updates through Haley, who moved back in to help. I think she's trying to make up for lost time. Maybe she's realizing how much I carried and how much she didn't. Theo and I talk almost every day now. He sends me pictures of his projects. He built a little robot that moves with magnets and named it Jamie Jr. I cried for 20 minutes when I saw that. Then last month, something happened that changed everything. Theo called me in the middle of the night, whispering again. Mom's screaming. Haley's crying. "I don't want to be here anymore." I froze. The old panic came rushing back. Like my body remembered every fight, every slammed door, every night of pretending things were fine. So I said, "Get your backpack, go to Mrs. Dalton's next door, and tell her to call me." An hour later, I picked him up from the neighbor's porch. He didn't say a word the entire drive. He just kept looking out the window, clutching his bag. When we got to my apartment, he finally whispered, "Can I stay here? Just for a little?" I told him yes. It's been 2 months since then. I enrolled him in a nearby school, and for the first time in his life, he's actually thriving. He laughs, he eats, he sleeps through the night. The social worker helped make it official. I'm now his legal guardian. It's not easy. I'm juggling school, work, and parenting a teenager who's seen too much darkness for his age. But every morning when I see him sitting at the kitchen table, drawing quietly with that tiny smile on his face, it feels worth it. Haley still texts sometimes, short, tired messages. "You did what I couldn't." Mom hasn't reached out directly, but she sent a letter once. "Maybe it's good you left. You were the only one strong enough to—" I don't know if that's forgiveness or blame. Maybe both. But for the first time in years, I don't feel guilty. I just feel, okay. So, Reddit. A year later, I guess my final question is, was I ever really the asshole for walking away? Or did I just finally stop drowning to learn how to swim?